That might actually be the better team. That
If a team beats Blank Blue too hard, like this Blank roster is going to fly over to Australia and play.
They'll literally swap.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, whoa.
Oh man.
Enough said of that.
Anyway, back to Taiwan.
It was completely ridiculous
Taiwan,
sidetrack. Yeah. This is where we currently
Flying
are.
straight from Australia back to Taiwan.
Well, I mean, you say that, but this is Japan.
It's
so,
true.
Yeah.
Got to take a detour. I mean, it's not a direct flight.
I don't know that Japan is really a detour on the way to Taiwan. I feel like it's actually further away, but you know what? That's just me. I just own a globe or anything. And OneShine on the attack as well. So Blank have opted into the defense.
Oh, the famed Sombra.
Hello.
How will this go? Let's have a look. Infamous, I might even say.
Wow,
good and bad
that's a
reasons.
strong word. Well, that is exactly what the word infamous means. So, that would be the correct usage. I do like how OneShine played it. They sort of put a toe in, tested the waters, drew out, tried to spring any traps that Blank was setting, and indeed they had been trying to set a trap. So now we'll have to see if they can break through in earnest.
Bello back on the Doomfist as well. We did see some pretty decent success out of him on Numbani, but he's got to find it again now on Hanamura. As CKM draws first blood.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. They'd almost weathered the storm, but while they were sort of stuck in that little room with Blank raining bullets inside, unfortunately, one of them did catch Janny, and now they have to try and find a way for him to regroup with them. It's going to be really rough. The rest of the 5 men just going to move around to the top side, try and, continue with plan A.
That's exactly it, right? Because Janny is in trouble, but so is Tung.
Puns does drop and all that, and Janny is in trouble once again as Zenith follows his teammates to the grave. Bello getting hacked on the way out for good measure. Well, there you have it, the infamous, or is it famous? I can't remember. Sombra. It pulls the weight. That's what's important.
We'll see how the EMP goes now for Blank because they're coming up on a lot of resources here. OneShine still a little bit indecisive about how they want to approach this A camp. Pun's now swapping onto the Widowmaker. Not a bad Widowmaker map. In fact, it's coming out of the Blank book as well, if you will, because Blank were quite well known for using Widowmaker on this A attack, but still looking for opening, and they need to be able to make these rotations happen for OneShine without losing members. Huss on the prowl. Yeah, the EMP is really going to hurt the Doomfist if he can land this one right, but it's going to be CKM's Dragonblade first. Wow, Huss just kind of catches one on the backside, and there you go, CKM going to work. Nice catch onto Huss, but it isn't really enough to turn things back around as the dive does come in. That was a headshot.
Yeah, nicely done, but I mean, he still dies. It still repels the push, so Blank still holding true on this defense.
It's one of those kills where, like, you died and your team lost, but you're pretty happy with it. You're impressed.
Yeah, it's like,
you dusted off your shoulders off that one.
That was scope, headshot, be point blank.
Felt like a sweet shot, but anyways, OneShine.
I do like a Widowmaker that, like, when someone comes in that close, they're still scoped. It's like the Widowmakers in my games, but that's going to be the breakdown now for Blank as they try and break apart OneShine's push. It's going to be the ultimate looking to come out of Bello. Now might be a nice time to commit an EMP here for Huss, but he's got to find the right angle.
They might
not even need it, yeah. And actually, with gun going down, they really are better off just holding on to it. Should be able to clean up the rest of these members as Zenith's ultimate does run out, and Bello not really able to put much work in this time around, unfortunately. Self-destruct out of Huwu late in the fight. Oh, nice catch onto CKM. You'd be pleased with that.
The 1 centimeter translocate, and now they've lost the EMP. Now you got to be a little bit concerned because for Blank Esports, they thought they could win it, and they may be still able to win this.
They have split up OneShine.
One tick has at least gone through.
Well, their one tick had gone earlier, but at any rate, they've now split OneShine, which is the key thing. OneShine, even though they've got these members alive, they're in all different places, and they're still just trying to skirmish a bit as the fight drags out. Now, what this is actually doing is giving Blank plenty of time to keep a lid on all these members, but as I say that, OneShine have just enough time to regroup and get back in. CKM trying to close it out now with this Dragonblade, gets Janny rather, gets Puns too, as 2 die to the self-destruct. They're still just going even, but OneShine, it's impossible to call. It's just too many kills going both ways in this fight right now. The dive on Tongues, but no, it's still not enough. Didn't quite get the catch with the 5-ball, but Huss is there to maybe try and clean things up. This is so scrappy from both teams, but at the very last moment, it looks like Blank are going to start securing it out. And it feels like these teams have just done nothing but fight for 4 whole minutes. Certainly my lungs feel like that's the case, but it is Blank coming out the better of what looks to be the final fight here on their point A defense of Hanamura.
Yeah, well, they at least need to get rid of the last remaining members here. Coalescence from Goddess to maybe try and extend things longer, but it's not going to be quite enough. But it was tricky for Blank. There were a few moments in there where you felt like, okay, this should be a cap now for OneShine. Huss has died twice now while getting nothing done. It's not looking pretty for Blank, who was able to kind of clutch out. Tung's been sent back to the respawn room many a time now, almost a sacrificial lamb of the Blank side. They have to just, unfortunately, lose Tung for anybody else to try and clutch on through. CKM picks up a few kills himself as well, and it's very scrappy, as you said, on both sides.
Yeah, it was not comfortable for Blank, even though they secured out the win. But you've also got to consider that maybe with just a little bit more discipline, a little bit more cleanliness, OneShine could have really made something happen there, given how back-footed they actually had Blank at certain moments.
You kind of want to rewind as well and maybe say, you know, at the sort of moment where we said Huss maybe doesn't need to EMP here, maybe if the EMP was committed, now looking back, hindsight 2020, am I right? It would have been potentially a full reset that would have forced OneShine to go all the way back to spawn, all 6 members forced to regroup, Blank get to catch their breath a little bit, you get to catch your breath a little bit, and then Blank Esports, I'm looking out for you, buddy, it's right. And then Blank Esports don't get put in the scenario where they have to rely on a lot of clutch plays from individuals that could go very, very wrong for them. And if it did go very wrong for them, that would have been a OneShine camp. We would have been on to B, and this could be a different game. But so far, we talk about Blank, we talk about Assault. It's not going badly for them yet.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about this could have been a different game. Well, it's not. It's the game that it is, and it's 55.6% that Blank need to beat. That is extremely achievable. It's amazing for how hard fought that actually was. It's amazing how easy a win this could now be for Blank.
I mean, it was an equal amount for OneShine to get through, and OneShine failed. I'd like to see, for Blank Esports, the difference here now being they have a clear goal in mind. Look, this is what we need to be able to catch. What? How did he know he was there?
I was like, why are you shooting in a bush? Wow, Huss, the game sense. That is phenomenal. Now just has free reign, knows he cannot be harassed because, funnily enough, Punz is dead. Zenith, did he just fall off the edge there? I didn't see anyone bump him. Now this is just a clean sweep for Blank. My goodness.
Wow, that
is unbelievable.
Let's not talk too soon. Punz is back into the game. There are a few kills coming on through, but Huss has put on the eat-up pants right now, and he's able to clean up a lot of kills as the Widowmaker. Last member falls off the map, courtesy of Kura, and that's going to be Blank Esports. 3-0, easy as you like it. Assault Curse. What Assault Curse?
I'm flabbergasted at that shot from Huss. Like, I was so stunned when an actual kill came up.
You know what? How it would have looked incredibly stupid if Punz was not there. It would have actually just looked like, well, I'm staring at a health pack scope in. But because Punz was there, it was like the highest IQ play you've ever seen in your life.
Just randomly shooting at. But then, like, how must you have felt as Punz? And you're hiding and you're ready to go. You're like, guys, I'm in position, right? And like you hear the Widowmaker, you think it's about to go past, and you hear it stop, and suddenly you just hear like this one shot and you're just dead. You watch the kill replay. Oh my goodness.
No, it definitely seemed like there's no way you would make that type of play unless you would have to know. So this is something.
I feel like what's happened is Huss has died to that exact Tracer setup too many times. That's what that is. It's like when teams pick a Hanzo. It's like when teams pick a Hanzo to check for like a really cheesy, like really advanced defense kind of thing. It feels like that. It's like, look, I don't lose anything by taking the shot. And actually, like that just goes to show us having a bit of discipline there to actually do that every single time. And heck, it paid off.
Yeah, well, when it pays off big dividends because, man, that gave him such a huge leg up in that opening fight. I mean, just losing a play straight off the bat. Yeah. And another player falls off the map for OneShine. Look, it's just incredible. Their team is just diving off the cliff at this stage. It's not looking pretty. And with that, it's going to be a, so far anyway, 3-0. Technically, the series now technically for Blank. But as we said in the previous series, OneShine still have the opportunity to maybe climb back.
And once again, rookie mistake, because now they're taking the Australian team to their native territory of post-apocalyptic future.
Of Junkertown.
Yeah.
Where in Australia do you think Junkertown is?
I think it's Perth. I don't even think it's Perth in the future. I actually just think
Like right now.
That's what Perth looks like. The thing is, I've never been to Perth, and I've never met anyone from Perth, so no one can deny it, right?
Well, yeah,
I think it's completely fair.
Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, it's sound
I
logic.
haven't been either.
Alternatively,
And now I don't want to go.
Alternatively, it could be somewhere in Germany. It's like Junkertown.
Oh, man.
I've been up since 6 this morning.
Yeah, you were like, use that one.
Just writing these really lame map puns out. Yeah, pretty much. But, I mean, this is going to be really great, right? Like,
Let's take a look at this again.
Oh, please. You can actually just barely see the front of the sort of Tracer there. So, like, he wasn't just shooting at nothing as well. He could actually see the Tracer.
And it's clean as well. It's just one shot. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's the other thing that could happen quite poorly is, what if you miss that shot? You would look like smart, but also really silly.
Yeah.
Because then Puns was like, well, I got shot at, and I'm blinking away.
Yeah.
We're in a fight.
It's like you figured it out, but like
it's actually like, thanks for bringing yourself closer to me.
Yeah.
So now I can take you out.
What if that's like you miss the shot and then the Tracer kills you? It's like, God.
So a lot of things.
You feel so stupid.
A lot of things had to go right for us right there.
Stars truly aligned.
A reasonable amount of stars had to line up to get that to all work.
A reasonable amount. Yeah,
like a fair
Not
amount.
all of them.
No, just a couple. Just a couple.
Certainly not an unreasonable number. I'm sorry.
And because
I'm now curious, what is an unreasonable amount of stars? You've dug yourself into a hole.
I'm just gonna run with this.
Let's go ahead and talk about Junkertown. Puns is like, I'll show you. I feel like this is just going to be a straight Widow versus Widow. Blank now just really looking to secure that 4-0. They want to at least be matching talent on the opposite side of these groups. And certainly if you're going to take a win, a 4-0 is always going to be better. It means it's just that much more likely you finish with that first place seed.
This is, by the way, CKM's 5th hero of the evening as well. So this man has been known to play a decent amount of different heroes. His pool is quite extended. Let's see if they can get off.
Wow, look at that.
So far, it's a yes.
He has got a hero pool more numerous than the letters in his name.
It's true.
Doesn't come around often.
And more numerous than the fabled AKM so far as well. Who are 2 letters above him.
That's it. Just raining bullets, man. Well, I mean, grenades.
Yeah.
Already bullets.
Yeah.
I mean,
slow bullets and.
I don't know, a grenade is like a really weird kind of bullet.
This is, by the way, right now, a kind of a atypical spot for Flank to be in as a defensive team. Look at the kill box right now. A lot of damage to CKM. The front line holding out so strong. Huss does go down, though.
Puns is like, oh, take that. Also against Tongue for good measure, and that does mean Blank actually have to back off, give him some respect, give this team some space. And as they do so, they get caught in the... Oh my God! Puns, man! He cannot be sneaky this game. It doesn't matter. It is still going to be OneShine busting through that one. So nicely handled by them. And I mean, getting the route on Blank as they were backing away was very good as well, sort of piling on the pressure. And it is going to result in a .8 cap.
You can tell CKM played tier 2 because he's landing those air shots. It doesn't matter. Like, he's playing whatever hero he wants and he's landing them air shots. But right now, OneShine, they did manage to come on through. They do have an EMP. Both Widowmakers on the infra side as well, and neither of them shy about it either.
Just hear that same voice line twice.
Yeah, I'll say it just like you said it.
Oh, unfortunately it's Puns. It's going to be the first one spotted out of those 2. All right. They're just waiting. They're just biding their time. I mean, yeah, this is just how Junkrat plays, but they're just looking to spam grenades out into wherever it is OneShine need to go through just to set up.
There is a potential weakness here that Blake need to identify very quickly, which is to say that EMP is coming through. So if they want to stack together closely, which they kind of are, they are very susceptible to that.
And Gianni was using the Transcendence to try and get an in for the EMP, but CKM not going to be caught out by it, backs off to the side and gets a nice 2K with the tire. That is a very nice hold out of Blank, and a very cheap one.
Yeah, very respectable amount of ultimate usage here, just the 2. And still a couple as well, especially the defensive ones are going to be quite important here. Puns has changed off of the Widowmaker onto the Doomfist as well. So now Goddess, second attempt coming through with this EMP, still looking for the same defensive setup that Blank have. They need a better way to access us. Is going to put a pause to that at least.
Man, Puns again. Goddess does still get into the back line for the EMP, but yeah, definitely don't use it here. There's no one to follow up on it, especially as Bello dies to Trill as well. And by the way, interesting to see all the changes up here. Because Goddess is on that Sombra, they do have to have someone else fill in that support. It's Bello, who previously was their Doomfist.
Yeah, that is... And yeah, with Puns on Doomfist, I mean,
it's just
so far though. I mean, Bello's had an interesting run on Doomfist, and it's been kind of tapering off. It's interesting that OneShine are so keen to force Doomfist, but we'll have to see if they can get the desired result from this.
Desired result indeed. Just trying to get aggressive. The EMP does connect, but there's just no follow-up. That's a nice play, self-destruct, but it only gets CKM in among all that. But yeah, more importantly, the payload's been moving, so you definitely will take it. It's exactly what we were talking about before, something that Blank did really well on Numbani, and now pressuring the cap out as OneShine rather start getting all the kills through. Beautifully done.
And you can see the kind of difference CKM is making here. When he's alive, he's able to output so much damage, get these kills, but just getting him down one time, despite even being rezzed, that window of opportunity between him dying and getting rezzed by Kura, that was enough for OneShine to punch on through.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you were going to say, like, the difference in how much CKM does when he's alive versus when he's dead. But
that's also true.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not untrue.
You know, when he's dead, he's really just having a lot less impact, aside from his body on the ground. Unfortunately, does lose the Riptire there on his way to sort of get the wrap around, but it does waste time for OneShine because they do still have to back away from it. Now they're back on the payload, getting some progress. What a shot from Haas.
Like I said, man, Eat Up Pants, definitely on. Currently,
okay,
anyway.
If I didn't know that Eat You Up was also a player on Blank, that was a really weird thing to say.
It would be. So I'm glad you clarified that one for me. But
yeah, for those of you who are tuning in to Pacific for the very first time, nice Meteor Strike onto Tongue. Puns, though, a little bit in the thick of it, is going to lose his life. It ends up being a 1-for-1 for himself, but Blank with those explosive respawns can start swinging that in their favor. Goddess, despite connecting a decent EMP, there's just no one left alive to follow up on it. And that's the thing. Whenever Puns is dead, Goddess has to do all the follow-up work himself, really. It's just not ever been enough, unfortunately, for OneShine. Blank once again holding.
Still changing heroes on the OneShine side as well. What they do keep consistent is the Sombra, and they've had a couple of times now with the EMP has been useful, has been good. They need to be able to find distance and momentum outside the EMP as well. That is what they're looking for now.
CKM just goes straight in with the can opener, looking to carve them all up. Finds Zenith and Bello, and that's plenty enough, even as it goes down to the self-destruct. Once again, the respawn advantage really plays in their favor. A 2-for-2 is better than going even when you're Blank in the situation. Sure, ideally you want to lose no one, but they are still getting the better of these fights at every single opportunity.
Yeah, OneShine are finding it reasonably difficult to penetrate the backline to collect Huss. Now, they'd have actually killed them by now, but like you sort of said here, respawn advantage being into play and whatnot, this is a difficult point to push through for OneShine. Look, it was already quite difficult on B. C is in a much more difficult challenge still.
Well now, Blank. They only have to hold out for a couple more. OneShine, they've really not got much time. They need to start conserving some ultimates, draw a few out of Blank, which is what they have done so far, getting the self-destruct and Valkyrie out. But they go ahead and commit the EMP. They're looking to turn this into a fight win, and it's starting to work for them. Zenith does have to pop the Primal Rage to stay alive, but he got 2 kills before that. It's worthwhile. Kura caught out while trying to res. That is OneShine back underway.
I did have my eyes on Tongue during that engagement as well, and I'm pretty sure there's a potential that he got hacked or EMP during that, because you would have expected the Transcenders to come out through to save Blank. That would have been a counter that Blank were looking for, but it is a nice clean fight win for OneShine. So far though, they've only been able to find these wins via EMP. So once again, they need to find other wins.
Nice catch on Kura. It does get traded back as Huss finds the shot. CKM as well. And without those supports, it's going to be a tough one for OneShine. Gun has to throw out the self-destruct, mainly because he was about to lose his mech. They do get a few back, but they're going to need to get a lot more because, again, those... Oh, wow, unfortunate. I was going to say the supports will take a long time to get back in the fray, but they lose Puns as well, and now without the DPSs, They can't really afford to pull back and regroup, respawn. They just have to go all in here, and they do so with the EMP, but they just don't have the members. And once again, you've got to go back to that respawn advantage. Blank will always come out the better of those even trades. Bello can stall it out with the sound barrier. Now they're looking to try and close out the fight with what little they have remaining. Transcendence is on the point to keep what members are there alive, and they do pick Huss. Maybe they'll have enough time to regroup.
Well, that's
here.
the thing, because they're actually out-trading Blank for the time being anyway. They're able to get a lot more kills.
Trill.
But right now, Blank are the ones on the back foot. They may not be able to defend this at all. Blank don't have the members. Trill has the Primal Rage, but Trill has to get out of spawn right now, and he's been delayed.
Goddess has nearly got another EMP as well as they demec Huwu. They pick CKM. They are still losing members bit by bit, but it's just not enough to fully take the wind out of their sails anymore. They've barely held on through the worst of it. They've weathered the storm, as it were, and now Blank are the ones in the doldrums as Trill just having to stall for time, really, with this Primal Rage. Now with the full respawns coming, they've got to make it count. The payload's nearly there, and they're going to be going straight into the EMP, but they're still losing the members, and they get it over the line. OneShine in overtime will still make it work. Now it is on Blank to push in better fashion.
Yeah, it's the classic case of when it hits overtime and teams just kind of push it into that next level, push it into the next gear, and they drive it home.
All bets are off, right?
It's kind of that last moment, right? They have nothing left to lose. They just got to go all for it. And that's when you see teams kind of at their best, and sometimes, oftentimes, at their worst as well on the receiving end of that. OneShine spent so long getting very minimal progress, and then it comes to overtime when kind of all bets are off. The fear has left them, and I think that's a very big psychological factor for a lot of teams, and it's why we see many teams complete the game or complete the cap in overtime, but not any time before that. They kind of just struggle for the rest of the game.
Well, and I mean, it's almost unfair to say that OneShine struggled. They did have a bit of a rough run throughout the sort of middle section of that map, but they had just got underway prior to that. It wasn't like they won a fight, they lost a fight. They had won a fight, they were underway, and really this was a continuation of that momentum. You've also got to say it seemed that Blank were just kind of banking on the defender's advantage, this respawns coming in, but they weren't exactly cycling into any ultimates. They also weren't really getting those individual plays that they needed. And you feel like maybe if they just played a more disciplined game prior to that, they wouldn't have been in that situation.
Well, this is the thing about Blank right towards the end, was they weren't able to find the counter trades, and that's something they were consistently doing beforehand. So when you look at what Huss was able to do, despite their team being dived on, despite Sombras and whatnot rushing at them, Huss was able to find kills. CKM was able to find kills. CKM got 2 kills on a Dragon Blade, then dies to self-destruct, but it is at least at a minimum even trades, if not positive trades for Blank. And even if they were minimum trades in neutral, that's in the favor of the defense. But when it came time, right in the overtime, Blank couldn't make those trades again, and now they're going to have to push all the way to win.
Huss going to be back out the gate on the Widowmaker. No Widowmaker on the side of OneShine, and you are again seeing Geldis on the Sombra, which does put Bello onto the Lucio. It's interesting that that's how this team is sort of playing into that.
Does Bello not have a Sombra? That's the weird thing.
Well, that's the thing is, that is obviously either Goddess or Sombra is better, or Bello doesn't have it in the back pocket, but they found a way to make it work, and that's, I suppose, the more important thing.
We're looking for when OneShine wants to engage here, because now the cart's about to pass through the kill zone, and now it is going to be Zenith kind of just stepping on there, but Huss punishing Puns.
Yeah, nice connect there, and it's the same thing that Puns actually did to Blank when they were in that same position. Got a couple of good shots, kind of forced the team to start moving backwards, and now this is the opportunity for Blank to get aggressive, maybe try and make a route happen. They don't quite get it though. OneShine are able to just pull back and retreat more safely.
It's a steady progress for Blank Esports though, and you'd like to see OneShine kind of get a little bit more stable control in the cart themselves. This is kind of just token defense now. They're losing members, they're losing progress, and Blank are kind of just rolling on through. Look at us positioning. No one can challenge Huss right now. It's just time that OneShine can buy, and time might not be enough.
Yeah, it is indeed not enough. Very quick one there for Blank. Minimal stallage out of OneShine, who now need to get themselves very nicely set up on point B. This is where Blank took the time off OneShine. OneShine have to do the same in kind.
Ultimate's now coming up online for Blank Esports. The combo is real, by the way.
Nice! And Huss even getting Puns for good measure. Doesn't quite get the follow-up there. He's looking for it, but he doesn't quite get the connect onto Bello. But in any case, it does mean that OneShine can't get that set up position there where they just keep stalling up Blank, and now Blank keep the cart moving and start getting aggressive in their own right.
But the power does come up for OneShine now in the form of the EMP. This is usually where they are the strongest, and that's, I guess, pretty typical for a lot of teams, but specifically for Goddess, specifically for OneShine, this is where they shine.
There goes the Riptide in. Wow, able to get right onto Puns and Zenith. That is pretty flawless. Gun as well, getting headshotted out as he D-max. And that means Blank are going to get this point B cap largely uncontested.
Just, again, a little token stall there, just a cheeky little stall from Goddess. So they're still looking for this EMP play. They need to get this sort of stabilization on the defense. And C is kind of where you want to see it as well, because OneShine cannot tap into that defender's advantage, that respawn advantage. Blank, once they get stopped up, this is going to be a difficult composition. If Blank lose control of the cart, they have to change to a dive comp.
Goddess, though, should be able to get right in for a big EMP, and there it is, right on top of the lot as they immediately drop Tongues, looking to get a few more. Yes, Huss CKM to boot. That's the defense that OneShine have been needing. Off the back of this, though, they need to set up some, if you will, defenders momentum. They need to start getting more ultimates online. They need to start being able to rotate through them, because Blank, despite losing the fights, held on to their ultimates and do still have enough to maybe break this wide open.
And by the way, OneShine charged a bunch of other ultimates on their team due to the EMP. Huss, nice shot for Goddess. Blank are in a kind of tough spot right now. They would prefer to play dive because they don't have cart control. You want to have cart control when you have a lineup like this, but they also have ultimates. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do we stay on this composition with ultimates, or do we change? Right now, they're staying.
Janny takes some chunks. He is going to be just fine, though. We'll get that shield back up. Huwu down early in the fight. Gets res, but CKM not so lucky. OneShine do still have enough in the tank here to turn this into a fight win as Blank start committing ultimates to it. The payload isn't exactly within closing distance just yet. This is ultimates just to get towards the final push, and now OneShine can swing it back in their favor.
But what Blank do have is they have momentum, so something this composition struggles to get control of again is the cart when they lose it on attack. They have that, but EMP is available for Goddess, and now down.
Goddess right into it once again as they immediately drop Kura. That's the fight that OneShine were looking for. Again, they do have to commit a couple of ultimates for it, but this time around, much more worthwhile as they completely rob Blank of that momentum. There's the gong as well. I didn't actually think they'd get it, but hey, they do.
And there it is, the big change up. Blank know it, the writing's on the wall. The cart is in there, I guess, to their credit, a decent amount of way across the cap now, but unfortunately, you can't run an Orisa Hog into this kind of place on the map anymore. You don't have cart control. Fresh ultimates, by the way, OneShine are so far ahead on the ult economy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now you end up playing that compositional catch-up. With 3 minutes on the clock, they do have the time, but Blank, I mean, first of all, you don't want to use all those minutes in cap and overtime, because then you're effectively even. You definitely don't want to accidentally lose, because you never quite get it done in those 3 minutes. Janny committing the ultimate now as they try and get the numerical advantage, gets not quite enough work done, but the DPSs are still able to get the pressure out of the remaining members of Blank. That's what counts.
This is where the silly stage kind of happens for OneShine Esports. They have momentum right now, they have tempo control, they have just about everything they need, and importantly, they have another EMP. That was probably always going to be a lost fight for Blank Esports. They know that. They got a fresh composition. Like you said, composition will catch up right now. No ultimates. They need time to farm these up. They also need time to get ultimates out of OneShine. But now, this is probably another fight win for OneShine. How many more lost fights can Blank afford to lose?
And that's the thing, they've got to start losing these fights more quickly. You're completely right. How many can they afford? Well, they had 3 minutes after the last fight, so by rights, 2 more fights. Great EMP placement once again as the follow-up is all there. This time Blank do trade a couple back, but Tongue committing the Transcendence, one of the few tools they actually had at their disposal. They weren't going to be able to turn that fight back around, even though they did have a couple of kills. They should have just been happy with the ultimate charge and just go back and live to fight another day.
You have to look at it from Blank's perspective as well, because part of the game plan and part of the win condition of countering an EMP is to say we have a defensive ultimate, something like a Transcendence, something like a Sound Barrier. Keep one of your supports out of the EMP range, come in to save everyone else. Unfortunately, though, OneShine acted so quickly, they were so proactive, they cleaned up kills and nullified their Transcendence. It was still even change, but even's not good enough for Blank.
It does have to be said, though, they have nothing left, and this is where Blank's ultimates are coming up. Immediately, they put them to work. CKM doesn't find much more, unfortunately, with that Dragon Blade, but he still did the work. He created the space, and as the rest of the team piles in, they are in good shape here. Translocation away for Goddess, but he gets followed up on. Had the EMP available as well. Now going to have to be booking it out of the base to try and make that one work. They will get a respawn.
That's a very important kill. Killing Goddess means that he's the last person to come out, which means the EMP will be delayed. Members of OneShine already going over, and the EMP is so late.
It is, and once again, Goddess is the only one there who could follow up on it. Every time that's been the case, he has been unable to do so, and once again, that will ring true as Blank getting the kills that they need, even Goddess to boot. And now it's just Puns and Gun alone on the payload as the rest of their team is in the respawn room, the sin bin, as it were. It's not much more time than what OneShine did it in, but Blank do complete it with just a little more time on the clock. That could make the difference as we go to time bank.
And cut the head off the snake if you're Blank Esports right now. One of the biggest issues that they've run up against so far on their Junkertown attack is the fact that they kept running into basically unfavored fights, EMPs on the other side, and when EMP wasn't on the other side, Blank didn't have the tools to win anyway, and then they found that pick onto Goddess, and that was after they killed everyone else. Now note the order of deaths and the order of kills that Blank got, because Goddess died so late, because he died last. That means the other 5 members of OneShine spawn first. They don't have a choice. They must defend the cart. It's about to cap on over. So they do. They run into the cart. Then they die, and the EMP only comes out when Goddess respawns, only when he gets back into position. Had he stayed alive, this could have been a very different result. The EMP would have come down early. Everybody from OneShine would have jumped onto Blank Esports. That could have been a full hold. It cannot be underestimated or understated how big that one kill onto Goddess was. That was a game-winning play.
It looks like they're changing off it now. It looked like for a moment OneShine were actually going to give the pirate ship a go. And what's interesting about that is CKM had crouched his way up to the payload so that he couldn't be heard, and he's placed a trap and mine on there, which would have actually been able to deal with that Bastion trying to set up, or at least chunk it out a significant amount. But it isn't going to be the pirate ship. Someone may still get caught by that trap, though, on OneShine.
We'll have to see how clever they are. They might pull a Huss and just shoot a bullet into nothing if required, really. And speaking of Huss, he's definitely looking to shoot a bullet into something. So far, he's been pretty on top of getting these kills as a Widowmaker and OneShine Esports. They are respecting that.
Zenith, though, getting pressured out as he tries to dive forward, and here is that kill box. This is where Blank will try to make their stand. We'll try and take the time off the clock, and already only 30 seconds remaining. Trying to dive now into CKM, but no such luck, at least not yet. Puns goes down. Zenith as well. Where weathering the storm there is Blank Esports as OneShine is kind of getting picked apart member by member, not a single casualty on the Blank side. Now OneShine, they just have to pile on.
10 seconds remaining. A pile on is indeed what they have to do, but where are the members? Who's even alive? No one can get there in time.
Zenith?
Just a tank and it might not be enough.
Zenith does at least get to it, but Puns dies on the way, and Zenith as well does not long after those mines from CKM doing the work. It's that spam damage. By the time you get there, you're already at half health, and it's not like there's any backup for these players as well. They are piling in, almost just paying lip service to the notion of winning, but this is as far as the payload will get. Point blank Riptire, just for good measure, onto Puns, and 48.96 meters, very achievable for Blank.
Let's not make any rash calls yet either, because for OneShine, it is still very defendable. 126 is the time Blank have to try and cap this one out. It was something like 46 meters, as you've already stated. Now, what Blank did,
48.96.
What Blank did do as well is they gave away a decent amount of cart push because they want the cart to be in the kill box area right under that bridge. That's exactly where the composition shines. That's where CKM on the Junkrat can get the most value out of his AoE damage. Now for OneShine, this can also be something they use. They need one good clean fight win. Try and snowball some of these defensive ultimates, and as was previously mentioned, 126 is not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Many teams have not gone past this exact spot, this kill box, even in 4 minutes.
Yeah, and that's completely fair to say. And there's opportunities as well for OneShine to just try and, you know, set up that defense a little bit ahead of it. Could be all the difference. I mean, 48.96, right? All you've got to do is stop them at 48 meters. And it is perfectly possible to set up a defense in that kill zone that Blank just never quite get that extra meter in. I mean,
yeah.
A minute 26 is not that much more than a minute.
And if you really sort of, count the amount of fights available here, OneShine only got about a fight and a half. Blank might get 2 if they're very quick about it.
Nice scouting by Tongue.
Yeah, you don't want to take any risk right now because you are also expecting potential cheese out of a defense from OneShine. You have to consider that on this time bank.
I'm liking the Reaper out of Puns as well. This is certainly part of their plan. He's looking to just try and set up in a way that he can get around the back side of them. They don't want Trill and Hubu to be able to sit still and get work done on the payload.
All right, this is it. It's going to be one fight.
Oh, nice spot. Tongue does get Zenith though. Wow, the damage is big out of Blank against CKM. 2 uncontested. OneShine not proactive enough as they drop like flies. 2 for Huss. Resounding victory there for Blank as they just clean up the last few. Not quite getting the gong as Zenith had technically respawned, but it doesn't matter that he was miles away. It could have not quite happened there. It definitely came closer than they maybe would have liked, but Blank do secure the 4-0. They keep themselves in line with what is so far the only other team we've seen play in the other group there, which is Talon, also securing their own 4-0. And Blank, you have to say, as far as the new lineup goes, they're showing a little bit more than promise, right? Like this is, I don't want to say same old Blank or return to form or anything like that, but they look good. And that matters.
Yeah, and their debut match of Pacific Contenders Season 1. A strong start, a strong showing, and they're going to need or they'd like to hopefully continue that momentum going on through as they collect their first round of handshakes. And now this is something I did want to mention earlier that I guess I personally noticed very late, and I apologize for this, but man, Kura cut his hair. It's really short. If you'd seen the guy before, he had hair like really long, like down to kind of below the shoulders. It was like a trademark of the guy. I'm not used to seeing Kura with short hair, I'm just saying.
I mean, Huss also grew a beard. We could talk about that.
He's had a beard for a while, I think.
I don't know, it feels new somehow. It's like, maybe it is the same.
What I'm saying is,
seems bushier.
New team, new region, new Kura.
New
hairstyles. New position. He's now main support instead of flex support.
Yeah.
It's everything new for Kura, and new wins as well as they pick one up against OneShine Esports. A 4-0 clean sweep. A couple of early issues there that I think were pretty well cleaned up towards the end there. Some dangerous moments for Blank, but otherwise I don't think they were too overall concerned about how that match went, and you're definitely happy with the 4-0. OneShine now, we've seen one of the four Thai teams rather play on through an 0-4 start, not the greatest. The other 3 Thai teams though might have a better one.
Maybe indeed. I mean, OneShine, there were still good things in among all that, like similar to what we also saw. I mean, to again go to that point of comparison, Chaos Theory versus Talon, despite being 0-4. A lot of promising things in there, a lot of close fights, a lot of close matches, a lot of very well-earned fight wins. And you feel like there are just a few things they could tidy up. You tighten the bolts a little bit, and maybe you see a very different team here in a couple of weeks' time. But it's a very short season, all things considered. And every match, like you said earlier, does really count. Yeah, you can go away and tighten up all those bolts, but if you've only tightened them after picking up 3 losses, it might just be a little bit too late. So OneShine definitely have the potential. They'll need to start fixing up those things very, very quickly, though, if they want to have a shot still of finishing top 4. Not to speak too soon, because we haven't seen the rest of what competition they're going to come up against, but 0-4 is never how you want to start a season. On the flip side of that, Blank very pleased with the 4-0, given that they are a team looking to make a very serious run for playoffs.
And this is